Okay, welcome back to the daily basketball recap. Today, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. We have a very special guest, friend of myself personally, uh, now moving forward, friend of the pod, maybe a couple guest stars here and there if he's, if he enjoys. Take it away, please.
Hey, what's up? Jason Blatt, um, friend of Levi. Glad to be here. Um, really looking forward to having some fun ball talk here. Also, right now I'm here to represent Lakers Nation. So just
Right, I wanted to say that you are a resident, as of right now, a resident diehard Lakers fan. Do with that what you will. I get a lot of flack for being a Oklahoma City Thunder fan, as I'm not from Oklahoma City.
right.
But you know, they can all get over it, I guess. That's kind of where I stand on that. Um, I wanted to. There's a lot of really really interesting points about the Lakers going on right now that I wanted to discuss with you. And you mentioned in our group chat a take that I don't want to say I liked, but I thought was going to be interesting for engagement because of the Lakers. Um, how do you feel about this Marcus Smart acquisition?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I think I think there's a lot of lore going on right now, and I think people are taking it way to the extreme. It was like when Luca, with all the talk about Luca, where everyone was like, "It's crazy to trade him. He's not fat." To all of a sudden, like, he's obese. What are you guys talking about? Like, I think Marcus Smart, people immediately was traded, like Lakers fans were like, "This is it. We have our defensive guard. Everything is saved." And as you know, the NBA lore goes, now we're hearing the opposite, where everyone's like, "What are you talking about? He was not good on the last two teams he was on. Like, he's not a game changer." And I don't think he's coming, and all of a sudden we're going up to like a top two defense on the perimeter in the NBA. But like, he is a piece that we're missing. Like, he is a huge piece that we're missing. Our best guards are not defense first. We thought Vincent was going to be, but he's not. And I think what you know what Smart gives us is a tons of leadership to backing LeBron, because I know he wants to take a little bit of a step back, and we get some perimeter defense for the now, and maybe a mentor for Austin for the future. Like, I don't think Austin and Luca is going to work unless one of them starts picking up that defense, and get maybe Marcus gets his hands in the Austin Reeves market. Who knows? Who knows? The potential's there.
Yeah, I don't think Luca's gonna be the one that picks up the defense.
No,
Um,
I not dropping any curries.
um, what do you say to people who feel that the key to Boston's success was actually trading Marcus Smart?
I agree, but not because of Marcus Smart. I think when you're a tenured player, like when Smart was was the Celtic, it didn't really give the space for Tatum and Brown to really become the leaders, and that was my take on it. I think that you remove the longest tenured player, you get rid of the guy who was hyping up the crowds, who was apparently speaking in the locker rooms, and then give them fresh new faces from Drew to Kristaps. I think they're taking Smart out of the picture was much was smarter, more so for the leadership of Tatum and Brown than his skills as a player. And yeah, I think people are just confusing the two things. Like, it was a good move, but not because Smart was not a good player.
There's some bizarre pleasure that I get out of people struggling to find a word other than smart when they're already discussing Marcus Smart. It's hilarious because everyone is like, "Oh, I didn't want to make a pun, and now I'm here and I'm stuck with it." It's hilarious. Like you see, like all the commentators are just like, "No, why?" Um, do you think some part of it is going to be like LeBron and Luca being like, "Hey, Marcus, maybe don't shoot, just play defense"? Like, do you think that comes to fruition at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely possible. I do feel like one thing that we have noticed over his last two, the last two teams when he was out in Garbageville, um, he was becoming.
Grizzlies fans are going to come for you on that one. That's fine. But just so you know.
Rod didn't play. Like, it was not. Nothing was going. When Scottie Pippen, not senior, is your leading scorer for a while. Whatever. Um, I think that he's gotten really good. One thing I've noticed in shot selection, I think that's gotten a lot better. He was really bad in Boston, and I think his efficiency was terrible, and I think that was because he was just chucking them up. Um, and I don't know the exact numbers offhand, but from my memory, he did get more particular in with the Grizzlies and with the Hornets. And I think with the Lakers, I think just like the usage won't be there, right? Luca and LeBron are not going to give him the ball in clutch time to take that shot. So I don't think he would be in that opportunity. Like I think he'll know his role.
My only fear for Marcus Smart specifically in this environment is I feel like in being in Boston, we saw him with two other primary ball handlers, and he still kind of did the same thing. But I think, like you said, the shot diet I think definitely improved with his season in the. I think it was a lone season in Washington, right? He was there only last year. I like that team. I watched that team more than I wanted to actually, but um, the times that he was on the court for them, um, he did look like his overall efficiency and basketball IQ kind of took a little bit of a leap at 29. How old does he now?
No,
I don't know.
I think he's 31 already.
Okay, could be. Um, but yeah, it'll be a very very interesting. It's a very interesting approach because he also provides them a lot of switchability. I think that where they really benefited last year during the playoffs, you saw it with their switchability. Like Rui was able to kind of pick his defense up another level. Um, and what do you think as far as their team defense, and do you think that Aiton is going to be a contributing factor to that at all? Because he's taken a step back, but also I don't think he really wanted to be in Portland. Like, how do you think that plays a role?
Yeah. I think first of all, in terms of Smart knowing, where his place is, I think the problem in Boston was yes, Tatum and Brown should have had the ball in their hands more, but also like Smart was the veteran on the team. Like he was the Celtic, like he was running the show. He's not he's not the show in Los Angeles, and I think he knows that. I think he knows that he's coming to Luca's team, he's coming to LeBron's team. Um, and we've had that in the past. Like from recent memory, almost most players that have joined the Lakers have been very good at that, except for one comes to mind, who did not realize how to play off of LeBron. Um, but a lot of the others have realized from Melo to Rondo, like a lot of the people who were fantastic in their heyday realized how to play off LeBron. Luka, I trust him smart. Like he is an adaptable player. He's you hear him off the court, he seems like he has his head on right. I think in terms of Aiton, I don't think he's going to be our defensive saving grace at all. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like Aiton. I think that he has a lot of potential, and I think that he has somewhat been wasted. And I think in the finals run, we saw what he could do with the Suns. Um, I don't think he fixes our need in terms of front court defense and at the rim protection. I think there's still another move if we really want to take the jump. As a Lakers fan, I'll always say Lakers in five, but like realistically, I do think we need an extra move, and it seems like something might be in the work. Um, But yeah, I think he's going to be a lob threat. I think in the same way that Dallas last year, Luca had Lively for lob threats, but had more of Gafford and PJ for the defense. I think we have the Lively and Aiton, but we're missing the Gafford and PJ situation.
Do you think it's a perfect transition? Do you think this is a thing that I speculated on quite a bit, especially since summer league and kind of seeing the poor showing that he had? Do you think, as part of this speculative trade moving forward, that Dalton Connect is on his way out of Los Angeles?
I love Dalton. I think we were all super high on him when he came because he seemed super underdrafted. But I think he is a good piece to be moved to make him like. First of all, we may need to move him anyways for the smart contracts and all that stuff. Um, I'm not the biggest CBA money guy, but we may need to move him anyways, from my knowledge. But I think he is definitely redundant if he's not shooting his three like at a clip that he needs to for the entirety, like as efficiently and just like as a norm. I don't really see. I see him pretty redundant.
Do you think that he what like it's difficult for me because I feel like the trade that they actually managed to get with Mark Williams, I'm actually like a Mark Williams truther. And by that I mean I just feel good about him. And I think that I don't know exactly what the numbers say on him, but I think that when I watch him, I kind of like how he plays, regardless of I don't know, maybe the Lakers thought he had scoliosis or something. I don't know what it is. But basically, Um, I I was actually kind of shocked by the amount of value that they got back with Dalton Connect and those picks and whatever else that was going to be for Mark Williams. Um, and I'm a little bit surprised to see that I just don't think that he has that same value, Dalton Connect anymore. Like I think that the summer league was really rough for him, and that's summer league. Like you know what I'm saying? Like he's playing around a bunch of guys who are like at the max, NBA rookie level, G League guys contending for a contract, and it wasn't pretty.
Right. I do say you do have to imagine. And again, he was terrible in summer league, and I did not think I'd be walking away saying that the Lakers' best player post summer league was Bronny. By the way, future MVP probably. Um, but there's your Laker lore for the day. Um, in terms of Dalton, like you got to imagine the guy was picked significantly lower than expected. Every board had him going in like top 10. Um, he dropped significantly, had a fantastic start, had some ups and downs, rookie year, then was put on the market, was almost traded, right? Then all of a sudden, JJ benches him the entire playoffs when like he was supposed to be like this up and coming prodigy off the bench. Like you got to imagine the guy's gone through it. Do I think that summer league reflected more of like a mental struggle than like a skilled struggle? I don't know, potentially. I just think like you had a rough year. Um,
I
but
just love
yeah,
all of the conjecture about like you don't let JJ get a player like JJ, and then it's like this is kind of the end result of that.
no, JJ skills. JJ also was a pretty decent ball hand. Like I think he
Yeah, I'm
there.
with you. I'm with you.
I think JJ he's more of himself, to be honest, based from like stuff that I've heard. Which I actually think is not a bad call. Um, I think Austin's just a better ball handler, but I think yeah, Dalton lost a lot. I think when the Lakers made that trade, I think Dalton was at like the peak of what he can offer a team, and his value was pretty high. I don't think if we made that trade again, Charlotte would be as interested because I think Mark has like, I mean, Mark's not there, but like whatever their piece would be, right, in response, that like they realize that Dalton is worth less now than he was when they were first offered him.
Okay, moving forward, I want to know piece and then react to how do you feel when you have analysts talking about how out of this Lakers core, Austin Reeves is the one who's going to have to be moved. Because I have it with Lou Dort, for example. Whenever they're like, yeah, out of the people who are going to be first out of OKC, Lou Dort's definitely on that list. And I'm like, dude, like, I- do you? I understand with the money and the numbers, and I feel like whatever ends up happening is like they're like, well, in order to make it work, they don't have to be in the luxury tax. You know, teams are in the luxury tax because they pay for team favorites. Like, like if you get rid of Austin Reeves, unless it's for something I feel like really big. Like I feel like this is the second coming of Alex Caruso in a sense. And if you like, get rid of him again, you let him go again, it's just like a wow. Like that's not the right call. How mad
Right.
does it make you when you hear that kind of thing?
I actually think it's funny because I think love Austin, but to preface, I think Caruso would be a much better fit for what we got going on right now. But regardless, I think you
You
know.
can't have him.
Oh, I know we've made some dumb decisions referencing that player that I referenced, a few minutes ago. Um, they I think that Austin right now is somewhat redundant. Like I think in terms of skill on the court, he is somewhat redundant unless he's willing to come off the bench. But his salary is going to go up too much over the next few years for him to be coming off the bench. And he deserves it. He's a starting level player. He's fantastic. I think what so intrigues me about Marcus right now is the opportunity for him to maybe mentor Austin a bit. Because I think if Marcus can help turn Austin into a defensive minded guard, right? Like think back to 2010, 2011, right? When people were like, how are you going to have these two ball dominant wings playing on the same Heat team, right? Like one of them was like, I'm going to take a step back and focus on other things, do a little more defense, do a little more wait, Dwayne was like, I'm going to give LeBron the space he needs. Like right now we have a similar situation where we got two perennial all-star level guards, right? One MVP level, one on the outskirts of all-starhood. I think the worst one should probably figure out what they can do to match with Luca's talent and not combat with it. And I think if this experiment succeeds, where Mark is mentoring Austin into a pretty solid defensive guard, I don't see a reason why we can't keep him. But if it doesn't change anything, then I love Austin. I would love him to stay. But I think if he doesn't get better defensively, I see it. I don't want it, but I see it.
So you're more in line with the Lakers getting in touch with Luca and seeing what he thinks before they even talk to LeBron's camp, is what you're saying. Your team Luca.
M team win now. And I think people say Luca versus LeBron. They forget that both of them have been in top 10 MVP voting over the last 2 years.
Yeah, I think that this is a note that I like to harp on right now, but I think that people are really forgetting who Luka Doncic is. Like he's has he won an MVP yet in his career? No. He's he's not even touched his prime yet. He's now in like the best shape of his life potentially, you know. He's I think he's going to come back with a vengeance this year. I really really do. Um
See, you seen his pictures of summer? He's looking good, looking in shape.
I always get scared about that kind of thing because I feel like you always see those pictures and the guys come back to the season and they're like, they got excited about like how much weight they lost and then they like kind of, lose a little bit and they gain a little bit back.
That's just Harden trying to be traded. That-
That was, man, that's our next video is I have to rank weight changes over the course of an off season. Like between Harden and that one from Jokic during COVID where Jokic just came back and half of him was missing. Like it's crazy. Or
people
the
sleep
Giannis
Celtics
what?
Shaq. Celtics Shaq. Going into
But
that
or
season,
the
not
or the flip side of that, which was the Giannis coming back from that one offseason, and he was just humongous. You're like, steroids, maybe steroids.
maybe, maybe not a bad call.
um, Second to last question that I have for you: if if they have to trade LeBron, what does that look like? In an ideal world, we're not talking about contracts. I know it all gets complicated. Blah, 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 blah. What would you like to see happen potentially? What like practically? What do you think is a possibility?
Like God forbid, what are we even talking about here? We're not trading LeBron.
Okay, that's an answer. That's fair. That's an
I'll,
answer.
I'll say this. I think I understand that LeBron is a Cavs and Heat guy first. But one thing Lakers Nation always does is if we have a superstar that wants to stay with us, that wants to keep the fandom, keep the money going, keep the seats being filled, we treat them well. Like I was not I was never in the camp of, 2015, 2014, let's try and trade Kobe for the future. No, no, for Kobe, a different story, obviously. But like, no, you're a superstar. You've given us a championship. You've given us some amazing time. If you want to leave, if LeBron's trying to get out the door, I think there are some moves to be made. Another wing, another big, but I would not want to try and get him out. He was the fifth, sixth best player in the league last year. Like, what are we
Yeah,
talking about?
listen, obviously that number ranges depending on who you're talking to, but I'm also actually in the camp of I think that people criminally underrate LeBron still to this point in his career. Like
He
everybody's like,
finished in MVP voting. People are talking about him like he's. I'm like, I'm in shock when people talk about this, like this old man, like he's
right? Like
like
he's Tim Duncan in his last year, right?
yeah, like Dirk or one of these guys like in their last year when Dirk and had that like in that All Star game, like him and Wade like had their
Right,
little
right, right,
little
right.
that was so nice. LeBron finished. He was on second team All NBA. He was sixth base. Like, what are you guys talking about? Like, I feel
Yeah,
like I'm
he
being gassed.
when they had that second stretch after they traded for Luca, there was like a good couple games there where they were both healthy and playing, and that it was like, well, this is the ideal like the ideal version of what that switchability and multiple ball handlers, high IQ basketball, the ball's flying on the perimeter, like they're getting to the right people. It looked great, and while that was happening, you're like, oh yeah, like this team could definitely they can go far in the playoffs. And then I just feel like once LeBron was out for those 2 weeks or whatever, I feel like it never got back to that same form, unfortunately. But I'm excited to see. I think that this version of this team obviously is better than what it was last year. Specifically, the fact that I don't know how you can be Jackson Hayes, 7 feet tall, you know, athletic, and just be such a useless center on the basketball court next to LeBron James and Luka Doncic. It was like shocking to watch, but I think this team was
I
definitely
like
better.
what also like what always confused me with those moves is people forget we had like 7 bigs on our roster at the time. They were all useless. But why not just play Haka? Have them go out, rough defense, right? When Rudy turned into Wilt for that one game, right? Like send out Trey Jemison, send out, Christian Koloko, like all these guys that were on these contracts that, were able to play in the playoffs. Just play a little Haka. Jackson wasn't doing it. Don't go to a 5-man roster for one game,
I'm interested to see is Vincent still on the team?
Yeah, he's being rumored in trade with
I
Dalton.
mean, he's getting paid $11 million a year. Like, I don't know. It's one of those things where, like with Vanderbilt, like through his injuries and at times a little bit ineffectiveness, like he's good on defense, when he's able to show up. But it's like they're getting paid a little bit too much compared to what other teams might want for them without getting picks and whatever else.
Right. I think these are decent pieces. I think Vincent, if he can encourage himself to get back to his Heat form, which I don't know what happened over the course of last off summer. Um,
2 years, how? Yeah.
that was what 2023, and all of a sudden we have him now, and he doesn't know how to pick up a ball. But I think they're pretty solid pieces. I can think of a bunch of teams that probably want like a good veteran defensive minded guard who's like decent off the bench. Vanderbilt, 100%. His offense is garbage, but if you're not a contending team, you just need someone to hold down the paint for a few extra minutes. Vando's your guy. Like I think Vando would be a fantastic piece in like when some of these teams are trying to build like the younger guys. Great guy. Regular season, get you 2 to 3 shots, 2 to 3 blocks. Like take him, use him. Good contract.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I do think that they have a lot of. I think in a way it's lateral moves that they can make, but I think that those lateral moves will make them better still. I know that that's like the exact opposite of the definition of a lateral move, but still, like I think that they can kind of just reshuffle the assets and get a little bit more out of what they currently have. I think like a good example of that was like Rui. Like I feel like that trade that they got Rui in was not like a crazy over the top trade. They just managed to get an asset who had larger potential than what he was showing at the time, and with the right fit and with the like, I'm a big Rui guy. Like he showed a lot of good play. He showed a really lot of good play next to LeBron and then eventually Luka, obviously. So I think they have a couple moves left to make that will I think make this team better, and I hope that they can get over whatever the stupid drama is of you know if Clutch Sports is in charge or who's in charge or whatever nonsense. Um,
Right, Rich,
my
Rich,
last,
right, Rich. No, and to like to flare, like to create a little bit of fun
well,
around the league.
but like, can we just get LeBron another ring, please? Like, can we just settle on that? Can we? Can we figure out how to just do
I'm
that?
like,
Like, I feel like it's
that
more complicated
argument,
than it
even
needs
more
to
so
be.
when people make that is like, let's ship him off somewhere to get a ring. Like playing with Luka Doncic in his prime. You're playing with a guy who's has more All NBA selections first team than Steph. And like within the last 5 years, like what else do
Yeah,
you need? Give him some good pieces. And what do you think is he's not I don't think he's more likely to win a ring in New York than he is in LA. Straight up. The
I
pieces they have
agree.
to give up.
Yeah,
It's just like if he wants to go on a minimum, well, if this theoretically had happened, he takes a minimum, goes to Cleveland, starts as their 3, fine. Fine. But he doesn't deserve that. He's the 6th best player in the league. Why is he going on a minimum? Like, whatever. None of this makes sense. The only thing that makes sense is he stays. We do a little more construction. We should have picked up a single free agent. Like, I don't know why Brook Lopez went to the Clippers.
at least first off, I'm glad for you didn't get Brook Lopez, but either like meaning I think the Lakers don't need another center that can't stay on the court. At least you're not the Warriors at the end of the day. You know, like between free agents and at least they have Kuminga to move, but they don't know what they're doing. Like it's kind of a
Ugh,
mess. The whole thing's kind
I
of a
feel
mess.
so bad for Warriors fans. Like, you got to feel bad. It's
I don't
it's
know.
the same
Listen,
story.
I think though that they also have a very interesting potential. After watching how long it took for both those teams to get to the finals this year, I just feel like when I'm watching older play, like I don't think that Durant on Houston has a good chance of making it to the finals without having to be out some games here or there because it's just you forget how many every single year I feel this way. You forget how many games you're playing with so much wear and tear that like these 37-year-old guys, it's it's a lot. It's a lot to get to that point. Um,
Yeah. Yep.
but I also don't think that I think what didn't help is I don't think that DeAndre Ayton was quite the fix that they were looking for at center. But he's definitely better than, what they had. So
For
who
sure.
knows?
I you know, I wish him all the best. I'm gonna be praying for DeAndre Ayton and him not to have any more icy roads. LA, there's no snow. Like he'll be able to make it to practice, make it to games. Hopefully he pulls through. I have some questions why the Nets didn't get any calls for Claxton. Like I have some questions out there. Why didn't some of these things happen? But this is where we at. This is where we're at.
Yeah. All right. Well, that being said, all in all, if this is the team throughout the rest of the year, where do you think they're finishing?
I think as currently constructed, if we get the best of Ayton, Smart pulls his weight, Luka's back in perennial MVP form, I think we finish again third, maybe fourth, worst case scenario in the standings. Because again, we got some old heads. They're probably going to rest throughout the season. Um, I think we're as a Lakers fan, Lakers in five, as a realistic like kind of putting on like the NBA actual thought hat. I say we need a few more pieces to get past to the conference finals. I think is out there because Luka's done it before, LeBron's done it before. Past that, I think there might be another piece or two.
Do you think that there's any chance of the Lakers dropping another piece and then the Rockets signing them somehow onto their team? Maybe as a ball boy, uh, guy gets the waters.
I think not wanting to pay DFS is one of the craziest things I've seen. It's like it's like I understand there's a lot going on, money, ownership, a lot of things been going on, changing the league, changing the team. But if the Bucks can keep Thanasis, paying Thanasis onto Tecumpo for the number of years that they did just to keep Giannis happy, Luca's longtime team end, and like I think if not number one, then top five most minutes played with, like one of his best friends. He's on the roster, and he was a great piece last year. Like he's who you went to for some salary moves. Like he was like I could have named you six other players that should have gone first. DFS not only does he lose, he goes to this All NBA team, Houston Rockets. Like what are we doing? That was one
Well,
of the crazy.
how else are they bringing in Jake LaRavia?
I I'm sure there are many different ways that you could have turned the Vincent, the wave Shake Milton earlier. Don't re-sign Jackson Hayes considering a no trade clause. Like a lot of things that we could like. Christian Coloco just got a contract. Yes, great player, love him. But this is money that we could have not had if we just kept DFS.
Yeah, yeah.
That one,
Listen,
that one.
most front offices will make you just kind of scratch your head sometimes. That's the truth. That's the truth. All right. Thank you very, very much, Jason, for coming on. I really appreciate it. And that was your daily basketball recap. I want to thank you all for listening. I want to thank you, Max, for also producing. Shlomo, we'll see you soon. And Jason, any last words?
Lakers in five. Lakers in five.